Today's the day. Going to be installing the intercooler on the Kona N. It's been a long time coming. I've been mentioning it in videos here and there. And what better way to do the install than during the hottest time of the year, during summer, starting to pick up heat-wise here in California. So with that said, want to see if I can install this intercooler. So the intercooler is from Sixth Element. Unfortunately, they are no longer producing like the intake or intercooler. So I got this on sale at a great deal. So the install should be pretty straightforward, but I do have two issues or things that I need to account for. One is that I have the Forge aftermarket oil cooler and that sits on the crash bar, and I need to take the crash bar off in order to, oh, I thought I saw someone there, in order to install the Sixth Element intercooler. And I am running the AFE charge pipes, both hot and cold side. So the issue there is that the couplers are made for the stock intercooler and the Sixth Element intercooler is a larger diameter. So shout out to Mike Jones. He has a black Kona N. He's had similar issue that he's had to deal with. So I've been in contact with him. So shout out to him for helping me out what to buy in order to get the couplers to fit on the aftermarket charge pipes to the intercooler. So I got these couplers off Amazon. I'll do a mock-up here of a diagram or sort of Photoshop mock-up that I came up with. So the Sixth intercooler on the hot side has a 2.5-inch diameter opening. And the AFE charge pipe also has a 2.5-inch diameter versus the stock charge pipe being smaller, I think at a 2-inch diameter. So with the help from Mike, he had used a 45-degree silicone coupler, also at a 2.5-inch diameter. The cold side's a little trickier. The intercooler also has a 2.5-inch diameter opening, but the AFE charge pipe has a 2.75-inch diameter. Not sure what the stock one is, but I'm guessing it's around 2.5 inches. So because of the larger AFE charge pipe diameter, we need a 2.75 to 2.5 inch reducer hose. And for the intercooler, we need a 2.5 inch diameter silicone coupler. And finally, we need a 2.5 inch diameter piece of aluminum in order to combine the two couplers together. Again, this is if you have aftermarket charge pipes that are larger than stock. If you have the stock charge pipes, Sixth did provide all the necessary hardware in order to install the intercooler. I don't know if that made sense at all. It's even confusing to me. I'm not a mechanic, but I think I do have it narrowed it down with these pieces. So with that said, let's take a look and open the box. You know, I've had this for 3 months almost, so this is my first time seeing it too. Here is the upgraded core. Comes with these spacers that you need to put for the crash bar to account for clearance. Obviously the couplers that we are looking to modify. A little sticker. And all the hardware that we need. Alright, so here's all the stuff that we are looking to install on the car today. So I'm gonna wait till it cools down a bit. The camera also says it's overheating, so that's not a good thing. And I'm sweating and getting tired just from filming this sort of intro here. As I look to install, I'll do my best to VO the install process. I'm literally just gonna follow the instructions. And when I do note or come across an issue, I'll probably look to give some commentary. So with that said, let's wait for the sun to come down and then we'll look to install. So stay tuned. So I'm going to be jumping around a bit on their instructions, but the first thing we have to do is remove the bumper. Forgot to get the under tray. Once everything is free, the bumper should be able to come off. bumper is off. Probably loose and not great fitment because I've been taking it on and off a bunch of times. So, next step, we gotta remove the crash bar and the shroud, and then obviously remove the stock intercooler there. Also, gotta take these lines off, maybe clean this oil cooler, then we should be good to install the intercooler. Next, we need to remove the couplers, both hot and cold side. The key part here is that the OEM intercooler on the cold side has a plastic piping piece that needs to be removed. All right, I'm going to take off the hot side piping first, and it's these guys. So in the instructions, that's to take off the piping first. I know this is the AFE piping, so we're looking to switch this as we switch the intercooler. So I'm gonna switch this one as well as this one here. This is the cold side. Not gonna bother you with or bore you with filming it, so stay tuned. I could not get this hose off, so I had to cut it. I do have another hose, so rip AFE one. If I need to go back to stock, I'll get new ones from them. Maybe give me credit this one. I only had to cut this half part. Such a pain. I'm not gonna do this again myself. Probably take it to a shop. Here we look to remove the crash bar, and in order to do so, the radiator support needs its own support so it doesn't fall. From there, we can then remove the hardware on both sides of the crash bar in order to remove it. About to take the crash bar off, but I do have the oil cooler, so I can't just take it off because it's connected there. I also have it zip tied to the crash bar. I might just take these off here and then reroute the hoses back. Of course, oil cooler has oil. All right, bash bar is off. Here it is. Obviously made a mess with the oil cooler, so had to cap it here. That crash bar is off. Time to take the shroud off now, and making some progress. To remove the intercooler shroud, we need to unplug this sensor here. Then there's just 2 bolts on each side to remove. Typically, you're supposed to also remove the radiator shroud, but since we have the Velocitech, I don't have a radiator shroud. It won't fit with this, or I have to trim it. So next we gotta remove the intercooler, and there's some 10mm bolts here. So let's get to removing that next. Intercooler successfully off. So here's what they look like. Obviously the beefier 6th, and then the OEM intercooler there. So definitely a bigger upgrade. This one is a little bit heavier, but I just gotta lose a few more pounds, but definitely significantly bigger core. So let's get to installing this next, and then we'll go from there. All right, have it screwed on by hand with the OEM hardware. The new intercooler is mounted and looking beefier, so just gotta tighten these down. All right, now we get to put on the spacer brackets here. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the instructions on the screen. To install the spacer, it says to screw in the extended stud as much as possible, then use the provided nut to tighten further before taking the nut off. The spacer then can hang on the extended studs before you put back the crash bar. And here's where I started to fall apart a bit. So I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but putting the extended stud and using the screw to tighten it just locks on the bolt here, so having trouble putting the stud in to add the spacer. I was able to get one in, but even then that's kind of loose here, so have to figure that out. All right, it's day 2. My homie Kurt actually went and got extra studs and bolts. As you saw in the last clip, I was having trouble getting the bolt off the studs after tightening it, so I was able to do one here, but then yeah, the rest just kept getting stuck. Just gonna try my best and hope I can get the stud on there. So all right, so I got the studs in there. I'm not gonna tighten it with the bolts, but I'm gonna put the crash bar on and then tighten it after the fact, after I get the spacer. So if all goes well, there you go. Now that I got the studs in, we can put back the crash bar. It says just to line the studs up as center as possible before tightening down, and I definitely recommend to have someone help you here. I'm trying these studs. See where it's like, let's see. All right, crash bar is on. So if you have the Forge oil cooler and it mounts on the top here, with the spacers and the new intercooler, it barely just clears. You can kind of see, it's like giving a little kiss. And then here is the clearance on this side. There's the clearance here, clears it. Here's what it looks like now. Halfway there. The last part is to install the coupler hoses on both sides and make sure to tighten the clamps in a spot that you can access if you need to remove or retighten. Been playing with the charge piping, making sure the coupler is good. Just want to finesse this to make sure everything fits nicely. It's not required, but I just want to show here that I was able to put the OEM shroud back on. Typically you aren't able to put it back because of the larger intercooler. I didn't want an extra storage piece, so I got these metal and rubber washers with an extended screw I had laying around, but was only able to screw down the top. I think the hardest part is just gonna figure out how to adjust the couplers for the piping. I do have to modify and cut down some of these. All right, here's my custom cold side. Cut down, again, use the aluminum joiner pipe. That's why I have the two clamps here. Reducer going to the larger charge pipe from AFE into the intercooler, the 6 intercooler. So larger diameter here for the intercooler, a larger diameter for the charge pipe. Again, try to mimic the length of the 6th coupler. We'll see. I don't know if I cut this short. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed, but let's see. I have the hot side here with the 45 going to the larger diameter AFE pipe here. Have the coupler on with the T-clamps, and it goes and is connected to the 6 intercooler. So this one, a little bit weird because this is at an angle, but I try to get as much of the sleeve onto it so there's a good amount. The piping ends here for the 6th, and then here is where it ends for the AFE charge pipe. So it might be a little bit larger, but hopefully there's enough of a sealant for this side. So here's the cold side. I don't know if I can get, if you can see, gotta connect this charge pipe to the new 6th one here. So yeah, it's gonna be a pain. So we'll see how the new custom coupler fits. So stay tuned. I had to get a larger clamp. The one it came with was just slightly not latching on, so I got a 83 to 91. I don't know if you can see that. The previous one was a 75 to 83. So let's see if this one fits. And we should be done after I get this one. Just want to make sure the hose stays on. So let's wrap it up. It's been like 1,000 years, so. Check engine lights, so that's good. Just gonna let the oil warm up. Gonna check the boost to make sure there's no loss in pressure. Sort of go for a test run later on. So stay tuned. Quick mention here, I had to tuck in the radiator shroud. It was sticking upward a bit because I wasn't able to bolt down the bottom section. But I wanted a cleaner look, so I just used the bumper as a wedge as much as I could. Whew. All right, I'm gonna try and drive it and see if it works. Just wanna make sure everything runs. Well, not good. I think I popped, I heard something. Didn't give it too much, just want to check for a boost, but looks like a hose came off, so gonna quickly head home before something bad happens or it overheats or something, so stay tuned. Looks like this one came off here. The AFE charge pipe to the new reducer. I might have to shorten this. I don't know. I had to push this back to get it in, but it looks like it popped off when I was driving. I just gave it a little, just testing, but it popped off, so All right, here's the first cut down. Let's try it out. All right, got the couplers on and got the car all ready to test drive. And again, yeah, like you saw in the last clip, the coupler popped off. So what I did was, on the cold side, is I took my reducer hose and I actually used the 6th cold side intercooler because they had the right angle in order for me to fit the piping. I'll put a diagram, it's hard to explain, but the 6th coupler, I was able to a little bit better fitment, and hopefully this doesn't pop off. I'm gonna go test drive now. Yeah, I'll give my thoughts at the end, so stay tuned.
1 hour later.
All right, just did a few test runs that you saw there. After about 20 minutes of driving, the temps are holding, the boost is holding. Did a few pulls, didn't want to record it just, you know, out of safety, but you know, the temperatures for the engine temp got up to about 100 at the max, I want to say. Sorry, 206. I don't know why I said 100. Going up to speed on the freeway, doing a few pulls. I even sort of double clamped it just to make sure that it's super tight. And also the adjustment, fitment wise, for that cold side is much better. So, I mean, again, limited test run. It is sort of a 90-degree day, so pretty hot. But yeah, happy so far, and just happy and relieved that the coupler, I'm gonna go home now and test it. Stay tuned for more. Gotta test it out on track and see. But so far, you know, I even hit NGS. I ran it for 20 seconds fully. It held up. So obviously after multiple runs is the true test, but so far so good. I'm just relieved again, like I said. Oh, this angle is ugly because yesterday the coupler was coming off and I wasn't building boost. So now that the boost holds, engine temps and even the oil cooler temps are normal or lower with the 2 coolers, can't be happier. So yeah, sorry, this video is probably not the best install video, more of a vlog of my journey and struggles in getting the intercooler, you know, to fit with all the mods that I have. Some of them got in the way a bit, but you know, no worries, you make do. And like someone said, you know, cars are pain, so if I'm not struggling, then I'm not having fun, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. My back hurts. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.